Thousands of proteins have stunning diversity because of these properties of amino acid. So we have discussed already. First property of amino acid, its chirality, and the next one is its novel acid-base property, and the third one is because of its capacity to polymerize. So now we will talk about the acid-base property of amino acid. So an amino acid can act as a base or an acid, as a base because of its amino group, and as an acid because of its carboxylic group. Now, amino acids are the best known examples of Zwitter ions. What are Zwitter ions? They are molecules with functional groups of which at least one has a positive and one has a negative electrical charge. So in other words, dapat ang isa ka molecule makonsider siya as Zwitter ion kung naa lang siya isa or many nga positive charge within the molecule and a negative charge within the molecule. But the net charge of the entire molecule should be zero. So, bahalag na siya positive, na siya negative charge, but the total net charge should be equal to zero. That is Zwitter ion. And a Zwitter ionic form predominates at neutral pH, and the non-ionic form does not occur in significant amounts in aqueous solution at any pH. So, the anionic, this is the anionic form of our amino acid, and this does not occur in significant amounts in aqueous solution. So, once na siya sa aqueous solution, atong amino acid, it is usually in its ionic form. Now, a Zwitter ion can act as either an acid, proton donor, or a base, a proton acceptor. So, as I mentioned earlier, when an amino acid is in aqueous solution, it will exist in various ionic forms. The predominant form will depend on the pH of the medium, and the equilibrium will shift with change in pH. So, this is our Zwitter ionic, Zwitter ion. So, it is also called as isoelectric form, and in this pH, it is equal to Pi. So, Pi, we will talk about this later. So, what will happen if our Zwitter ion or isoelectric form of our amino acid is added with a strong base? So, we know if it is added with a strong base, the pH will increase. Okay? But what will happen with our amino acid if, example, naata sa isoelectric form niya? So, it will become deprotonated. Kinsa man pud ang ma-deprotonated? Our amino group. Okay? But at very high pH, our amino acid will be fully deprotonated. So, once fully deprotonated ang amino group and carboxylic group, the total charge will be negative. So, it is in its anionic form. Now, what will happen if from our isoelectric form, we will add a strong acid? So, our amino acid will become protonated, or the carboxylic group will be protonated or added with hydrogen. And this is always true, or when it has or our pH is very low, all our carboxylic and amino group will be fully protonated, or our amino group will be fully protonated. Therefore, if protonated to 9, it will give us only a plus nga total na charge. Therefore, at low pH, ang predominant is our cationic form sa atong amino acid. Okay, para mas masabtan og ayo, this is a titration curve, and this is our equilibrium nga reaction. Okay? So, kinsa man ang mas ga-predominate nga concentration on these points? Now, in point A, kinsa man ang mas daghan nga concentration at here? So, as I mentioned earlier, at very low pH, okay, meaning kung very low pH, gamay po ang H+, right? Or, I mean, gamay ang OH minus, taas ang H+. So, at very low pH, our amino acid are fully protonated. Therefore, the predominant form here at point A will be our cationic form of our amino acid. How about at point E? So at point E, as mentioned earlier, that our amino acid will be fully deprotonated, therefore giving us a total net charge of negative. Therefore, the predominant concentration here is our anionic form of our amino acid. How about point C? So in here, we know that the predominant concentration will be our Zwitter ion. Unsa gani ang Zwitter ion? In a molecule, there is a positive and a negative um, group, but the total net charge is 0. Ano total net charge niya 0? Balag na siya charges nga plus or minus, di ba? Pag total net charge, i-add ta ng charges. So, plus 1 plus minus 1. So, equals 0. At point C, where the pH is equal to Pi, the predominant concentration is our Zwitter ion or isoelectric form of our amino acid. Now, how about point B and point D? Kinsa man po ang predominate diha nga concentration. Now, there will be 50-50 of concentration of our cationic and Zwitter ion. So, kay 50-50 man siya, meaning 50 ang cationic and 50 ang atong Zwitter ion. And so, our pH is equal to pKa1. Diba, familiar sa ato ang Henderson-Hasselbalch equation? Kung naagani tayo pH equal to pKa, that is the maximum buffer capacity. So, naatay buffer diha. So, kinsa man pod ang reason nga naatay buffer diha. It's because of our, as I mentioned earlier, 50-50 man ang concentration sa cation o sa Zwitter ionic form. So, ato ang buffer diya is because of our weak acid nga COOH and our conjugate base nga COO minus pair. Now, at point D, okay, this is another buffer region, right? So, meaning, at here, the predominant nga concentration predominant. There is a 50-50 concentration of Zwitter ion and anionic form nato. Therefore, ang naa diha nga our pH there is equal to another pKa or what we call pKa2. So that is there is a maximum buffer capacity tungod sa ato ang weak acid, which is our NH3+ and our conjugate base, which is the NH2 pair. So, this is why naapoy another buffer nga system ang ato ang amino acid. Now, with that, the ability of the amino acid to react with both strong acid and strong base means that amino acid solutions can function as buffers. So, an amino acid like glycine has two regions in which it can act as a buffer. So, at pH 1.34 to 3.34, and the reason there is because of our COOH-COO minus pair. So, naa siya pKa1. So, the other term for pKa is dissociation constant. Okay? Kinsa ang mag-dissociate or kanusa or mag-dissociate ana nga pH or ana nga pKa. Okay? So, another buffer region or buffer capacity or buffer region sa ato ang glycine is at 8.6 to 10.60, and that is because of the NH3 plus and H2 pair nato. Now, what is isoelectric point? So, it is the pH at which the concentration of Zwitter ion is maximum. So, again, kaningat PI, ang PI is where the pH at which the concentration of the Zwitter ion is in its maximum. So, at isoelectric point, the amino acids are not attracted toward an applied electric field because they carry net zero charge. Okay, the total net charge of our Zwitter ion is 0. Therefore, dili siya attracted. Dili siya attracted with any electrical field. Okay, 0 man yung net charge. Therefore, different amino acids have different isoelectric points. And how to calculate the PI? You just have to add both pKa1 and pKa2, divide it by 2. So, just like this one, for alanine, na siya duha ka pKa, okay? As I mentioned earlier, another word for pKa is as a dissociation constant. So, base ani, kinsa man ang una ma-dissociate, of course, katong pinakagamay og pKa, kaya siya may gamay og pH, right? So, una ma-dissociate si carboxylic. So, siya una at higher pH, siya ang una ma-deprotonate, right? And then, followed by the amino group. Kaya siya may taas-taas og pKa. And to get the PI, you just have to add both the pKa and divide it by 2. Now, how about if there are 3? Okay, there are 3 pKa. Kinsa man imong gamiton to get the PI. So, just like this one, for glutamic acid, siya tulo ka pKa because naman siya carboxylic acid pod sa iyang R group. Now, this is the glutamic acid nga titration curve. So, how will you assign kinsa si pK1, pK2, pK3, and how will you draw the structure here? So, ano mo pagkabalo nga kinsay una ma-dissociate, kinsay una ma-deprotonate. As I've mentioned earlier, Ka, other term for Ka is dissociation constant. So, kung kinsay gamay og pKa, siya una mag-dissociate. So, siya una ma-deprotonate at higher pH. So, just like this one, this is the fully protonated glutamic acid, right? So, once nga mag-increase kasi mo nga pH, ang una nga ma-deprotonate is the carboxylic acid that is attached to our alpha carbon. You can see here sa ato ang nga structure. Okay? And then, kinsay musunod? Say sunod, mas gamay. Okay, the carboxylic group at the R group. And then lastly, the amino group na attached sa ato ang carbon. So, this is because of taas man iya nga pKa. So, pK3. Now, let me go back to my question. Tulo man ka pKa, kinsa man atong gamiton para sa PI? Dili man pwede nga i-add tanan kay ang formula man sa PI is just pKa1 and pKa2. So, ma'am, kani si K1 o K2 kay sila man si Ka1 and K2. So, in here, it is true. It is pK1 and pK2. Okay, you just have to add pKa1 and pKa2 and divide it by 2 and you have your PI. Pero dili inana always. Okay? Let's have an example here. Kang lysine. So, si lysine also have 3 pKa's because it is a basic amino acid na siya amino group sa iyang R group. So, again, this is the titration curve for the lysine. So, kinsa may una nga ma-dissociate, of course, kanang pinakagamay pKa. So, this is the fully protonated amino acid. So, once you increase your OH, there will be deprotonation that will happen. Kinsay una nga ma-dissociate. So, based on this, the smallest pKa is the carboxylic attached to the alpha carbon. That is why nainani siya. Okay, and then followed by our amino group, deprotonated amino group attached to the alpha carbon, and lastly our amino group that is in the R group. Now in here, kinsa man natong gamiton sa PI? Diba? Let me go back to the definition of PI. PI is the pH at where the Zwitter ion concentration is in its maximum. So, ang imong gamiton sa imong PI is kung aha in between imuha nga Zwitter ion. Now, how will you know if aha si Zwitter ion? Because of just looking on this structure. You have to get the total net charge. So, for example, for glutamic acid, the total net charge of your fully protonated um, amino acid or glutamic acid is +1. Ba? Fully protonated. So, +1. This is our cationic form of glutamic acid. And then, once nga mag-dissociate, mag-deprotonate, so, naa natong zwitter ion. And then, mag-deprotonate pa gyud at higher pH. Therefore, naa natay -1. Nga na -1 naman kay duha atong negative charge. So, -2 plus +1 is -1. And then, to at a higher pH, fully deprotonated. So, na natay -2. Then, as I mentioned earlier, ang pKa nga imong gamiton sa imong PI is kung aha in between imong zwitter ion. So, that is why that is pK1 and pK2. Now, for lysine, it is saman. Okay? Ang sa ang fully protonated sa lysine, it is +2. Okay, duha imong amino group. Okay, so that is +2. And then, the next structure is only +1. Okay, na-deprotonate na imuhang carboxylate, followed by our zwitter ion. Okay, and then lastly, our fully deprotonated, having a net charge of -1. Ano -1, ma'am? Kay tungod COH, ang atong amino group wala na charge at ang COO na deprotonate na siya charge nga minus. Okay, mo nang -1 diha. So, atong gamiton sa atong PI for lysine is katong pKa's nga in between nga zwitter ion. And that is pK2 and pK3. Understand? So, we have another example here, histidine. Okay, so based on the pKa's and the structure here, kinsa man ang pinakagamay og pK. Kinsay una na dissociate? Okay, it's the COO minus. So, this is for pKa1. Okay, pKa2 is because sa R group na nato nga amino. And then, lastly, the amine group sa ato ang alpha carbon. So, unsa nga kinsa nga pKa atong gamiton sa atong PI? It is pKaR and pKa2, or butang nato pKa2 and pKa3 kay naa man diri in between ang ato ang zwitter ion. So, dapat kani sila ato ang gamiton nga pKa. So, that's it for acid PI. Now, what will happen if, let's go back here, what will happen if naa ka diri sa imuha nga zwitter ion and mag-add ka og strong acid? Maunsa ang imuha nga structure or form sa imong amino acid. So, kung mag-add ka og strong acid, di ba mo gamay imuha nga pH. Therefore, at very low pH, what will happen to your amino acid? Ma-fully protonated. Now, what will happen if nakadiri gikan sa imuha nga form sa imong amino acid and you have added OH or strong acid sa mahimo sa imuha nga amino acid structure or form? Of course, at very high pH, everything is fully deprotonated or your amino acid is fully deprotonated. Therefore, mao ni siya ang imuha nga ga-exist na nga ionic form sa imuha nga amino acid. Okay. After acid-base property of amino acid, we have this classification of amino acid based on its nutritional value. So, we have 3: essential, non-essential, and semi-essential. So what are the difference? Essential amino acids are amino acids that are needed for protein synthesis that must be obtained from the dietary sources because it cannot be synthesized or adequate amounts cannot be synthesized in human body. And their deficiency affects growth, health, and protein synthesis. So, say pasabot ani, ang mga essential amino acid dili ma-produce sa ato ang body, therefore kinahanglan nato ni siya kwaon from our food intake. How about non-essential amino acids? So these are the rest of the amino acids that are formed or produced inside our body and in amount enough for adults and children. So we also have semi-essential amino acid. So these are synthesized or formed in the body but not in sufficient amount for body requirements, especially in children. So we have semi-essential amino acids, the arginine and histidine. So listed here are the essential, while here are the non-essential. And we have mnemonics here for Villar man ang naa sa inyo nga material, no? Because of arginine. So this is the mnemonics for essential amino acids. Now we also have complete and incomplete proteins. So a complete protein contains all the essential amino acids in the proper amounts, while an incomplete protein is low in one or more of the essential amino acids, usually lysine, tryptophan, or methionine. Now, except for gelatin, proteins from animal sources are complete. So, tanan nga protein nga gikan sa animals are complete protein except for gelatin, and except for soy protein, proteins from vegetable sources are incomplete. So, tanan vegetable at tanan protein nga gikan sa vegetables are incomplete except for soy. So, soy is very familiar with you, di ba? Tofu, soy milk, and other soy-based dairy and meat alternatives. So we also have complementary proteins. These are incomplete proteins which when served together complement each other and provide all the essential amino acids. So examples. So example is rice. So si rice incomplete siya kay wala siya lysine nga amino acid. While si beans incomplete pud siya kay wala siya methionine and tryptophan, pero naa si methionine and tryptophan kang rice, right? And si beans naa siya lysine. Therefore, rice and beans are complementary proteins. So these are all just a summary of what we have discussed. Everything about amino acid, so you can look through that. Now let's go to peptide bond. So, diba, as mentioned earlier, the property of amino acid is that it can do polymerization. Now, if there is polymerization of amino acid, there is a formation of a peptide bond. So, under proper conditions, amino acid can bond together to produce an unbranched chain of amino acid, and the reaction is between the amino group of one amino acid and the carboxylic group of another amino acid. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, the carboxylic group of one amino acid and the amino group of another amino acid, forming the peptide bond and a byproduct of water. Okay, so aha man gikan ang OH sa water nga na-produce og aha pod ang gikan ang another H sa water nga na-produce. So you can see here, so ang OH is from the carboxylic and the hydrogen is from the amino group of another amino acid, and so forming a peptide bond. Another term for peptide bond is an amide bond. Okay, and the chain of covalently amino acids is called a peptide. Okay, based on the length of a peptide bond, so peptides are further classified by the number of amino acid present in the chain. Could be di, tri, oligo, and polypeptide. Now, if I will ask you, pila ka bonds ang naa sa pentapeptide? Kung mag-ingon kag pentapeptide, pila ang present sa amino acid? From the word penta, it has 5 amino acid. However, ang presence sa peptide bond is only 4. Diba? Okay, kaniya mong 5 amino acid, pentapeptide, but ang na-form lang nga peptide bond is only 4. So, tang need always sa inyong mind nga if there is a peptide, okay, that is the peptide bond is always minus 1. Now, the nature of peptide bond. So, a peptide chain has directionality because its two ends are different. And by convention, the direction of the peptide chain is always from the N-terminal end to C-terminal end. So, always good na to i-write ang N-terminal end, okay, from the left and to the right, which is the C-terminal end. Just like this one. Okay, characteristics of peptide bond. It has a resonance stabilization, di ba? Familiar sa inyong organic. So, because of this resonance stabilization, the CN bond there or the peptide bond there has a partial double bond character, which is 40% double bond character. And so, kay naman siya double bond character, it is shorter than the single bond and also stronger than a single bond. And because of this one, there will be a restriction on the rotation in that bond, CN bond. Okay, so the CN bond in the peptide linkage has partial double bond character that makes it rigid and prevents free rotation around the bond between the carbonyl carbon and the nitrogen of the peptide bond. So, because of the resonance structure, naghatag siya og double bond character sa CN end nga bond, therefore restricted na kay. Diba dili dali i-twist kung naa na kay more than one nga bond. Now, the peptide linkage are essentially planar, and now we are on the geometric part of the peptide bond. So, planar di ay ang geometry sa ato nga peptide bond. So, this means that for 2 amino acid linked through a peptide, there are 6 atoms that lie in the same plane. And those 6 atoms are the alpha carbon atom and the C double bond O from the first amino acid, and the NH group and another alpha carbon from the second amino acid. And why is this important? Because this planar structure has considerable rigidity. So this means that the rotation of the CN bond is hindered. That's why there is a isomerism that will present. It could be cis and trans. So again, review your organic. What's the difference of cis and trans? Okay, but the trans isomer orientation is the preferred orientation because of steric interference of the R group when in the cis position. Actually, this is cis. Ang cis on the same side, trans is on the opposite side. So, mas preferred daw ang trans because of the steric interference if of the R group if it is in cis nga formation. And because si trans man ang mas preferred, this because of this arrangement naa din tay zigzag ang formation sa arrangement sa ato ang peptide bond. So, This is just the summary of everything about the characteristics of peptide bond. Okay, so peptide bonds are amide linkages that join amino acids in oligo, poly, and proteins. So we can consider it as oligopeptide when there are only few amino acid residues. Poly, if it is its molecular weight is 10,000, okay, less than 10,000, and if it is more than 10,000, we can call it as protein. Okay, how to name peptide in IUPAC. So rule number 1, the C-terminal amino acid residue keeps its full amino acid name. Rule number 2, all of the other amino acid residues have names that end in "il." So the "il" suffix replaces the "ine" or the "ic" acid ending of the amino acid name, except for tryptophan, cysteine, glutamine, and asparagine. Kay naunsa man sila. Di man sila ga. Okay, ang difference na nila. And then rule number 3, the amino acid naming sequence always begin at N-terminal amino acid residue. So we have here a how many amino acid? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there are 4 peptide bond. Okay? And the name of this pentapeptide is serine from serine, glycine from glycine, tyrosyl from tyrosine, alanine for alanine, and the last, which is the C-terminal, should keep its full name, which is leucine. So you can write it also in 3-letter abbreviation or the 1-letter abbreviation. Now, we also have isomeric peptides. Amino acid sequence in a peptide has biochemical importance. Isomeric peptides give different biochemical responses. That is, they have different biochemical specificities. So, kung naay isomer imuha nga peptide, therefore, lahi sila og property, lahi po gid sila nga molecule. Now, peptide that contain the same amino acid but in different order are different molecules. They are called constitutional isomers, and so they also have different properties. So just like this one, yes, they both have alanine and glycine, but in different orders. Naguna si alanine sa isa, ang isa naguna si glycine. Therefore, these are examples of constitutional isomers, and they are different molecules with different properties, although they have the same molecular formula. So let's go to small peptides with physiological activity. We have aspartame here. Kinsa man si aspartame, it contains only 2 amino acid. Okay, and it is a dipeptide, okay, sold under trade names Equal and NutraSweet, which is 180 times as sweet as sucrose. Ahagay na to katunggan ang aspartame, diba, sa Coke Zero, sa Diet Zero, or Diet Coke. So both amino acid present in the dipeptide must be in the L form for the sweet taste to occur. So ang aspartame should be ang aspartame consists of L forms of this aspartic acid and phenylalanine, because the LD and DL and DD forms have a bitter taste. Another small peptide with physiological activity is the glutathione. Kinsay ga gluta dere? Okay, this is a tripeptide glutathione. Okay, this serves as a regulator of oxidation reduction reaction. Glutathione functions as an antioxidant, protecting cellular contents from oxidizing agents such as peroxides and superoxides. And structure of glutathione, the glutamic acid, is bonded to cysteine through the side chain carboxyl group rather than through its alpha carbon carboxyl group. So this is the interesting thing about the glutathione. Okay, its structure, because the cysteine part is bonded to the alpha carbon. The cysteine part is bonded to the side chain. Okay? Side chain sa carboxyl group rather than sa kaning alpha carbon na carboxyl group. Okay, lobat na ko class. Last three. Last three slides. Enkephalins, they are pentapeptide neurotransmitter produced by the brain itself that bind at receptor sites in the brain to reduce pain. So, unsa sila? They are pain relievers or analgesics. So, there are two best known enkephalins, the methionine enkephalin and the leucine enkephalin. So the two enkephalins differ only in the amino acid at the carboxyl end of the peptide chain. So methionine and leucine leucine enkephalin. Okay, last one. Si oxytocin and si vasopressin. So these are the two best known peptide hormones, both produced by the pituitary gland. So they are oxytocin and vasopressin. So each hormone is a non-peptide